legends, I hope you're all awesome. On today's video, we're going to check out the dBx 160A compressor, mostly for clean guitar sounds, chasing that plastic late 80s electric guitar sound as made famous by players like Dan Huff, Michael Landau, and Steve Lukather, that holy trinity of grease merchants. Basically, this is a pretty straightforward compressor. You've got a threshold control, you've got a compression ratio control, and you've got output gain, which functions as the makeup gain. There is an Overeasy mode that you can kick in here, but I've got that off at the moment. And then the little display lets you toggle between the input and output metering, and you've got a gain reduction meter down here. I'm going to let you hear my clean sound, and then I'll bring the compressor in at a 2:1 ratio. The meters over here are actually pretty handy. As with anything audio, trust your ears, not your eyes, but I do find it handy on there being able to toggle between the input and output display to kind of get the threshold control dialed in and just make sure I'm not massively boosting the signal and going, well, everything sounds so much better when it's on, when the reality is it's a lot louder when it's on, and loud always kind of sounds better. So let's do some chimey stuff. Here's my clean sound, and I will bring the compressor in with the ratio roughly at 2:1. So very, very dry, clean sound in there. We will add some grease to that in just a second, but even at the 2:1 ratio, it's just adding a little bit. It's kind of fattening everything up. I think if you were using some crunchy sounds on there, that might be just enough compression on there. But let's crank this up to like a 4:1 ratio on here and have a listen to what it is doing to the core clean sound now. Now with a sound like this, with a Strat that's kind of super peaky sounding, you do get a lot of that like 4-5K energy in there, which can be very ear fatiguing. This is kind of lopping all of that off and squishing it, and it feels really, really good to play. It's like the advantage of distortion. You get compression, so it's easier to play. This keeps everything super clean, but it's easier to play. I think the kind of magic with this, though, for that sound is with the ratio more around the 6:1 mark on there. And again, using the output gain to just kind of compensate and keep it at unity gain is very handy. Obviously, you could use that to just make everything louder if that's what you wanted to do. If you were strictly playing clean and you wanted to kick this in as like a solo boost, I see no reason why you couldn't do that. But let's have a listen to it at 6:1. So that is very, very noticeable on there. It's basically fattening everything up, and it's taking out a whole bunch of high end, which kind of makes sense with that sound. A very uncompressed, dynamic, clean Strat sound isn't going to have a whole lot of low end in there. When you compress everything, kind of smear it all out. That low end is going to come up in relative volume to the high end in there, and any of those peaks are going to get taken down. You can see that as I brought the threshold down, it really started to get squishy in there. So what we'll do now is we're going to just slather this in effects. I've got my Axe effects, Tri-Chorus and Dual Detune, and then we'll kick in some reverb and delay. We'll just start with the mod effects first, and we'll hear it bypassed, and then with this squishy compressor. Now, a lot of the magic is obviously coming from all the grease that we've applied to the guitar sound there, but what I like about the compressor is it's kind of taking out any harsh peaks, especially on that clean sound, and especially with single notes, you know, on the bridge and middle position. Again, I'll let you hear that, something like this. What I should do here is actually let you hear the difference between the normal mode and the Overeasy mode. So we'll hear normal and then Overeasy. Let's hear it with some crunch now. I'm going to stick with the Strat, and I want this kind of really clangy bridge pickup thing going on. And again, I'm going to keep the ratio somewhere between 2:1 and 4:1, just to fatten things up a little bit, kind of like we heard with the clean sound. I'll also let you hear Overeasy Mode on there, so let's go. Overeasy Mode is particularly nice on there, especially if you want to get in that kind of lower to mid gain area. You want to play some chimey arpeggios and have those sound really nice and sparkly, but then just add a little bit of extra squish and attitude to some guitars. It feels really good to play as well. I don't think I'd have any reason to run this on super high gain sounds, just because I already like the amount of squish and compression I normally get out of something like a Mark Series amp or a Soldano. But for those kind of lighter crunch tones, very nice. And for the clean sounds, you know, it's definitely part of the magic. Do you need a 160A to get a really funky compressed sound? I don't think so. There's plenty of pedals out there which will do that and more. But it's just kind of the aesthetic, isn't it? I think if you were building an 80s style rack, you should probably definitely consider putting a 160A or a 160X. I think some people really prefer the 160X for guitar. They probably have way more in common than the differences between them would suggest. So, you know, grab a 160A, it does this stuff, or grab a 160X and have a good time with it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Is this something you've got sitting in your rack? Is this something that you've got sitting in your home studio that you're using on drums or some other instrument source? And are you going to pull it out and try it on guitar? I would love to know. Or just let me know what your favorite compressor pedal or rack piece is, and if I should check out any more of them on the channel. Until next time, thanks so much for watching the video. Might play you all out with some more of that absolutely greasy, clean sound on here. So Overeasy Mode will be off. I'm going to go for lots and lots of compression on here. And I'm going to wish you all a great day. Thanks for watching.